Get in on the action this season with Underdog's Pick'em game. Select higher or lower between 2 and 8 players and compete for up to 325 times your entry. Use code DIRECTOR when signing up to receive up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a free pick. Yo to Bolt fam, it's the Director. Chargers fans, I've been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to my bold predictions video regarding around our first round pick, Omarion Hampton. You guys know the story by now, man. The lead up to the draft, Omarian Hampton kind of being my guy. I went into the huge mock draft simulator with the Bleacher Report team and 31 other critters. Big production, right? And I kind of knew going into that Omarion Hampton was going to be my guy. If I could choose, if I personally was in charge of the team, Omarion Hampton was going to be my selection, considering the Chargers' future, what they're trying to build, and the identity that they're trying to grasp at in the next couple of years. I think Omarion Hampton just really fast-tracked us to some huge success on the ground this season. Speaking of huge, you guys see a little Pat McAfee? Some of you guys were tagging me on this yesterday. I thought it was awesome. We were on Pat McAfee yesterday. At least the tweet was. That's good enough for me, man. See, Omarion Hampton is huge. Yes, he is. That's the embodiment, the identity that you were looking for there. But for those of you guys that, yeah, it is a bit of camera magic. Even Joe Ortiz, who was in this episode, I think he's behind me in this image here, was talking about how the image maybe a little bit too big. He's not bigger than Coach, but he's going to be a big impact for this team, man. That's what we're going to focus in on today. My bold predictions of the impact of Omarion Hampton for the future of the Los Angeles Chargers. It's a big one, man. I'm very high on this player. I think you guys are going to see some huge production from him. Yes, even in his rookie season. We're going to break down all the reasons as to why in this video. Before we do kick things off, man, shout out to the sponsor, Underdog. Use code DIRECTOR to receive up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Newcomers, take advantage of the free pick on screen. Before we do kick off, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this Chargers content. Small amount of time you guys take to the like, sub, bell notification. Helps me out a lot. Let's get into it, baby. Lights, camera, action.
Who's got it better than us?
Into the end zone, Charger fans are witnesses to history!
My bold predictions for Chargers first-round running back Omarion Hampton. Mainly these predictions revolve around his rookie season, what to kind of expect from the young guy in his first year in the NFL, the impact he's going to have for this team, but a couple predictions too leading into the future. There's a lot of good ones, man, and I think this video more than anything will properly describe why I was so hyped on this player coming into the draft, and why, regardless of the density of running back at the position in this draft and how many guys maybe you can get in the second round like the Broncos did, with RJ Harvey, or we saw the Ohio State guys available early in the second round as well. Despite all of that, I wanted the Chargers to go in on Omarion Hampton because it kind of does feel like the Bijan Robinson to Jahmyr Gibbs season, where you have two really, really good running backs, and then one of them maybe being the superior talent going to a team, right, that's not as quite tailored for his skill set in the Atlanta Falcons with the Bijan Robinson story. They're still a very good player, going to put up a lot of numbers, but really Jahmyr Gibbs going to the Detroit Lions, built to run the football, has a compliment guy in Montgomery to really help solidify their identity as a run team. The Chargers are really taking from that blueprint and building something special, and that's why I think, Omarion Hampton is going to do some really wild things, yes, even in his rookie season. Now, in support of talking about building to the identity, let's say of the Detroit Lions, in a lot of ways. The Lions are a great blueprint. They have a good quarterback. They got some nice weapons. But more specifically, they are very well built to run the football. The Chargers still have a little bit of work to do in terms of building their offensive line to get to that level. But they really did just get a shot in the arm when it comes to matching the running back talent of the Detroit Lions. And you take a look at their blueprint again, Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery to now Omarion Hampton and Najee Harris. It feels pretty appropriate. But Najee has become a topic of counter-argument against Omarion Hampton in terms of his rookie season production. I kind of wanted to nail in on that first because Najee Harris is a good player, okay? He was considered a pretty big signing by Chargers fans in the offseason, considering we needed that consistency at running back. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, good one-year stopgaps, but ultimately couldn't stay on the field, didn't play to the quality of what you're going to get to in a guy like, Najee Harris. And ever since we signed him, a lot of pushback on the idea of drafting a running back high in this draft. Who we're going to get to, supplement him. He's got the one-year contract, et cetera, et cetera. I never lost faith that the Chargers wanted their franchise guy of the future. They wanted a guy to complement Najee Harris. Of course, we did hear that in a presser with Joe Ortiz at one point. He's like, hey, if we go running back, we want a guy that can complement Najee, which absolutely we did. But he's not going to stop Omarion Hampton from having this huge season either. And I think a lot of the evidence resides in what the Chargers have already shown us in this last season. Because last year, you guys will remember, the Chargers' plan, at least that was brought out to us, was Gus Edwards was going to be the guy. I actually was at the press conference that Gus Edwards was introduced. He talked a lot about, his impact on the team, his expectations at RB1, how he was going to produce. And a lot of us, embraced that. We wanted to be this big body running back, physical, run team. But that didn't stop the next guy from really taking over the run game over the course of the season, and that was J.K. Dobbins. And, of course, last season in one of my Bold Takes videos, I did predict that J.K. Dobbins would surpass Gus Edwards and be one of the top running backs in the league. Now, had he played a full season, I do think he ends up in top 10 range of running backs in 2025. But besides the point, J.K. Dobbins was exactly the kind of running back that they want to keep on the field. And by week 3, Dobbins was dominating the workload, the snap counts, and Gus Edwards kind of took a little bit of a supporting role, a back seat. Didn't mean that Gus Edwards wasn't important. He did serve an important role with the team going forward. But I mean, some of the snap counts you'll see, I think in week 3, it was 3 touches to 15 on J.K. Dobbins, which became a pretty common occurrence with those two running backs. So given what we've seen in the past, the kind of running back that Omarion is in comparison to Najee Harris does prove that the Chargers will likely keep Omarion on the field, maybe a large percentage more than Najee. Now, Najee, in my opinion, he will see more usage than Gus Edwards did, in my opinion. The Chargers are going to be able to afford to run even more this season. We had to lean back into the passing game a lot because we just quite weren't built to the point where we could run as much as, Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman probably wanted to. But this season, you are going to see an uptick in running. The running back talent alone is going to allow for this. But the offensive line, especially in the interior with Mekhi Becton and Andre James, that's going to afford them more room and more opportunities to run and really operate the offense the way that they want to. Thus, I do see Najee Harris getting a larger, role in the offense than Gus Edwards did last year, just, in that and his efficiency. Hampton is also going to benefit from this increase in run plays too, man. And of course, if he's taken, the RB1 job early, it's just going to give him an even bigger opportunity to pop off in his rookie year. They're really going to have a hard time keeping Omarion Hampton off the field. Say what you want about Najee Harris. I think he's a good player. I think he's going to get used plenty in this offense. I think, honestly, he could still near his 1,000-yard, marker every season. He's put up 1,000 yards every year of his career, and I still think that's kind of possible, even with Hampton having a huge season. Because keep in mind, teams like Baltimore last year, they ran for 3,200 yards. And again, that's pretty much the blueprint the Chargers went into trying to build in terms of identity in a lot of our opinions. Now I'm really kind of realizing it's the Lions. But they put up a ton of rushing yards. So even Najee Harris having a good season won't affect Hampton too much. But Hampton, man, again, like I was saying, they're going to have a hard time keeping him off the field, dude. He's a big play waiting to happen. He's got the speed. He's got the physicality to match, Najee Harris in a lot of ways. But he's also insanely good in the passing game in terms of, pass pro and receiving. And that's going to take the Chargers a lot of consideration in ever taking him off the field if they don't have to. So Hampton, I think, honestly, the fact that he's such a complete player, that he's so good in passing downs, that he's already a big play waiting to happen, he's going to win RB1, or at least what we consider RB1 in our minds, very, very early. I would say by week 2 or 3, you're going to see a big difference in touches between the two players. Again, I think Najee's going to serve a good purpose. I think he's going to have a solid season as an RB2. Again, really think about the situation with Gibbs and Montgomery in Detroit. It feels like that dynamic. If you're looking at both those players as fantasy options, they're both very good, and that's because that's kind of the situation that's being built with the Chargers right now. My next bold prediction, and this one's pretty huge, man. This one I'm actually pretty proud of because I think that this is going to make for very fun football to watch, and it's something that I think I'm maybe catching on early that everyone's going to jump on board, in the next few seasons. But to start the season and to start the rivalry, what I'm going to start calling it here, between Ashton Jeanty and Omarion Hampton, is that I do think Hampton edges him in the rookie season for both of these players. I think he outpaces Ashton Jeanty in 2025, which is pretty impressive to say because I have a great amount of respect for Ashton Jeanty. Of course, we've watched him up to the point of the draft. We've hyped him up. And ultimately, the worst thing in the world ended up happening, which is where he, was drafted by the Raiders. I absolutely hate that we're going to have to be watching Ashton Jeanty 2 times a year and coming up against him. We have to also remember, though, there's a lot of analysts, a lot of teams that have suggested that Omarion Hampton was ranked higher than Ashton Jeanty due to his size, big playability, complete traits as a player. I personally still had Jeanty higher than Omarion Hampton as an individual talent, but there's other factors at play here, and this is where my opinion on this hot take of Hampton having a better rookie season than Jeanty, this is where it kind of solidifies for me the situation of both players. Now, the Raiders are likely headed towards a run-first scheme similar to the Chargers. Now, the Broncos, who knows what the Chiefs are thinking at this point. The whole AFC West is about to become a run-first division, very much like the AFC North, right? And they got Pete Carroll. We know they're going to try to run the football. I think, is it Chip Kelly that's over there now? You're going to see a lot of zone runs, okay? They're building towards that. But they're still in their first season of building the Pete Carroll way of football and the Chip Kelly offense. Like, they're not built for consistency in that new system yet. They have a poor offensive line, definitely ranked in the bottom, half of the NFL last season. They did get some pieces in the offseason, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to really elevate them at this point, considering where they took them in the draft, etc. And they're still building for, surrounding support for the running back. The passing game is also really important for establishing a good run game. Their threat in terms of quarterback is nowhere near the level of Justin Herbert. Their weapons outside of Brock Bowers is going to need some work. Yeah, they did bring in Jack Besh and a couple of guys. I think they're improving in that arena. But the Chargers, again, it feels like Ladd McConkey is very established. They got themselves, Trey Harris this season, and Mike Williams has come back. We got Conklin, and it feels like the Chargers passing game is as strong as it could be right now. That's really going to help Omarion Hampton, where, Ashton Jeanty is not going to have that same support. But I think the newness to the system is more what I'm leaning into right now. The Chargers are a really good example of this. Last season, we wanted to be that running football team. We went out and got, running backs that fit our system and everything, but ultimately we had to pivot dramatically because the Chargers just weren't built to find that sort of success on the ground as consistently yet. But in year 2, we're very well situated to succeed on the ground. 2 beefy running backs behind, a revamped line. We got Mekhi Becton in here. He could pave the way the same way he did for Saquon Barkley. Jeanty, although a great player, I think is going to trail Omarion Hampton due to his situation. Omarion Hampton is built to succeed to his strengths. The team drafted him because they knew he would fit like a glove to what they've been building the last couple of seasons. He's a huge difference maker for this offense, and he's going to benefit from what we've been building as well. The Raiders, they're going to have some growing pains this season. They're going to be forced to throw a lot. And surprisingly, Ashton Jeanty didn't have his best numbers in the passing game either. I mean, of course, I think his potential is there, but Omarion Hampton actually edges him out as a receiver too. Lots to consider in terms of the situation behind both teams. The Chargers, they're ready to rock and roll. I think Omarion Hampton is going to have an awesome rookie season, obviously. And I think in terms of numbers, he is going to surpass Ashton Jeanty. I think Ashton Jeanty is still a great player, and he's still going to put up decent numbers. Very much so like Bijan Robinson with the Falcons. But Jeanty, I think he is going to trail in terms of his rookie season behind Omarion Hampton, and it's going to be a fun narrative to follow for. Like I said at the top, I think the Janty versus Omarion narrative is going to be a fun rivalry that the NFL follows for years, and both of these guys landing in the same division. The two top running backs in the draft, which was a very strong running back draft, is going to be a fun narrative to follow. Okay, next up, Hampton will post the best rookie running back numbers since 2020, which is very exciting to think about. I mean, again, this is a season where we're going to have Ashton Jeanty is the other rookie running back, so it's very intimidating to think in that fact in terms of pure talent and everything. But Hampton, again, like we said, he's set to succeed. And I think it's going to be felt in a huge way with the Chargers this season. Now, in order to pass Jeanty, Hampton is going to need some pretty big numbers. We also explained how Hampton's usage will be higher this season like we did before, the whole J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, and now we're going to be running the football. All of this adds up to big numbers for Omarion Hampton. He's going to be a very featured part of this football team. You're going to think of some big names when you think of the Chargers going forward. You're going to think Derwin James. You're going to think Justin Herbert. At least recently Khalil Mack for another year, but also Omarion Hampton is about to enter that fold. Ladd McConkey is going to grow into that. Maybe Trey Harris, but I promise you, Hampton is going to be, a stamp of identity for this football team going forward. And the numbers, even in his rookie season, I think are going to reflect that. Now, in order to post the best numbers at running back since 2020, it's going to require some, again, big work on his part in his rookie year. For context, though, I think he's set up very well. The Chargers have already kind of proven to us that he's capable of doing so as the Chargers' new RB1, because taking a look at last season's RB1 and J.K. Dobbins, we saw some pretty impressive things. He posted 900 yards in just 13 games, mind you. J.K. Dobbins not healthy for, a large chunk of the season. But this is why also splitting some reps with Gus Edwards down the stretch. Definitely very interesting to see how well J.K. Dobbins did despite missing time and all the complications. I think it averaged out in terms of J.K. Dobbins. It put him in the range of 69 yards per game. Nice. And 0.69 touchdowns per game. Nice. And that's really going to make the situation for Omarion Hampton that much more clear to us. If J.K. Dobbins could pop off to that level, which again, very nice numbers for him last season despite missing time, I think Omarion Hampton's ceiling is going to be even higher, man. I love J.K., but Omarion, even in his rookie season, I think he's going to have some very impressive numbers to toe. Another benefit is that Hampton does not miss games, like the J.K. Dobbins situation. Again, knock on wood to that statement. Hampton, I do fully expect to play a majority of games this season. His entire career kind of, speaks to that. He doesn't even miss snaps most of the time, even after taking big hits. He's a very, very tough and physical football player. That's why he got drafted, why Najee Harris is there too. He doesn't miss games either. And I think, again, he stems a great chance to play the full season, and all these kind of add up together to some pretty big numbers. I got Omarion Hampton and this is for his rookie season, y'all. If you're fantasy football players, just mind you, again, these are hot takes, but mind you, this is not out of the realm of possibilities. I got him at 1,210 yards on the ground, 12 touchdowns, the best rookie running back season since Najee Harris, where he posted 1,200 yards and 7 scores in 2020, which is nuts that we have both of these guys on the roster already. But Hampton, man, the situation is perfect. The identity of the team is built towards him. And he's got some really good supporting cast around him to help succeed these expectations, which I'm very much so excited to see how he produces in the year. And again, I hope none of my league mates are watching. I doubt that they are. But I will be very high on Omarion Hampton in the draft this year, especially considering that we have a keeper league. I would definitely want him on my football team for the long haul in this situation. Okay? Second to last one here. Last big one, I would say. And this one is awesome, dude. I honestly, this is an awesome observation on my part, if I do say so myself. So pat on the back for the director. My prediction is that Hampton smashes receiving expectations this season. Okay? Now, we know that Omarion Hampton is an exceptional receiver at the running back position as well. If you guys have watched my content, that's one big part that I was pushing on him as well. As like, man, with the Chargers, the way we like to use receiving running backs, he would be awesome. He posted 373 yards, 2 scores in 12 games last year at UNC, right? With 38 receptions, which is wild. Okay, it shows a lot of trust from the quarterback, a lot of trust from the offensive coordinator. They want to get this guy out in space, and he produced some really nice. Now, 373 yards on 38 receptions is pretty dang good, man. And this is where his talent meets the Justin Herbert influence, which is going to step in. Justin Herbert, you guys were there during the Eckler seasons and the Eckler era. Like, he loves checking down to running backs. And Hampton, man, he's going to be a weapon for Justin Herbert in the passing game. This is something that I heard everywhere, as the Chargers were being graded after the draft, in terms of getting him a wide receiver, this and that. This guy is going to be a weapon for Justin Herbert, man. For context, how much Justin Herbert loves passing to running backs. For context, Herbert checked down to Dobbins 38 times last season. The same number as Hampton. Hampton had the 38 receptions at UNC. Dobbins had 38 receptions with the Chargers last season. Again, Dobbins, he did miss some time, only played 13 games, but again, only 12 games for Hampton. With those 38 receptions, J.K. Dobbins only posted 153 yards and no score. To reminder, Hampton's 373 yards and 2 scores. The efficiency level here is off the charts in comparison, more than double of what J.K. Dobbins had last year. The receptions were there, right? He was on pace for 50 receptions based on Herbert's usage, but the efficiency wasn't quite there. Now you take in the fact that Herbert, he loves to check down. This is our best receiving back since Austin Eckler. And now the efficiency is brought to the table, especially when you put Omarion Hampton in space. You will see a lot of Hampton usage in the passing game this season. I think this is one underrated part of his game that is really going to shine through with the Chargers in particular, given, how the Chargers passing game operates, Justin Herbert's very obvious comfort with receiving backs, and the way he likes to check down. I think he's going to absolutely pop in terms of receiving. And honestly, guys, we're getting in the range of not quite CMC, but definitely Bijan Robinson level of production here. I got him at 505 yards, 3 touchdowns in the passing game, capping off a monster season. Let's do the math here real quick. That puts him at around 1,700 yards and 15 touchdowns in his rookie year, man. That would be one of the best rookie running back seasons we've seen in a long time. And I really do think he's up to the challenge. My final prediction here, one more for the future. I think Hampton is going to end up being the best Chargers running back since LT. The Chargers have gone in on a few running backs since LaDainian Tomlinson. I think a lot of us had high expectations for Ryan Matthews. That didn't really check out considering his health and that being an issue. Melvin Gordon had some solid years, especially when we paired him with Austin Eckler down the stretch there. But this is a different situation. The Chargers have always been a high-flying, high-volume passing team behind Phillip Rivers and early Justin Herbert. This is a new Chargers football team that's going to be running to the tune of, the Jim Harbaugh identity, the Greg Roman identity. This is a Chargers running football team that is now built to run the football, that now has the talent to run the football, that has the surrounding cast to run the football. I think this all stems and orbits what's going to be an insanely successful season for the Chargers on the ground. We had to get the offense up to speed with the defense that stand better chance of finishing out football games, of winning football games. And now, honestly, it feels like this is going to be the first year that we really see all the pieces come together. The Avengers have assembled, and the Bolts are on their way to being the next big threat at run game in the NFL. Honestly, guys, I think we're going to be revered at the same, level as the Detroit Lions here in the next season or two. And I think the rookie season for Omarion Hampton is as high as an expectation as anything as I've had for the Chargers in a long time. So you guys let me know some of your bold predictions for Omarion Hampton going into the future. What do you think to expect out of him? I think he's honestly going to have a huge season. I don't know if I expect all of these bold takes these bold predictions to come true, but I do expect one or two of them because this is a very special player behind a very special situation inside a very special culture of the Los Angeles Chargers going forward. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. If you liked what you saw here, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out. We'll see you next time. And as always, bolt up and stay frosty. What do you guys think, man? 1,200 yards? 12 touchdowns? I'm about it.